Hi, welcome to another episode of Mixing It Up with Maria. I'm Maria. Welcome to my apartment and to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making spanakopita. Spanakopita is known as Greek spinach pie or ıspanak böreği in Turkish. Usually in Turkey you'll have it with just spinach. In Greece it's common to have both feta and spinach in it, which is the way we're going to make it today because that is my personal preference and I really like it that way. So we're going to do that. Spanakopita is something that's really special to my family. It's something that we eat on holidays. It's also something that feels like a complete meal. It's not necessarily the healthiest of foods, honestly, but one of the best foods been the healthiest for us anyway. So we're going to be making that. It's also, the nice thing about spanakopita or any pitas really is that they're actually quite versatile. So today we're making a savory pita, but other times we can make one that's sweet. We can make one that has just one ingredient. There's a version called brasopita, which has brasa or leeks in it, which is also quite tasty, and it's a nice spring thing. So you can really go by what's seasonal. I mean, in Thessaloniki, which is one of the capitals of Bugatsa, which is a sweet variety basically of pita, you can get it with a cream filling, with a pumpkin filling. You could even get it, I've had it with mushrooms in it. It really is an amazing, amazing pie. The fact that it's a pita means that you can do anything you want with it. You could fill it with so many things and it'll still be really good. I'm gonna take you through it. We're also gonna go through a few tips in dealing with phyllo dough, and we're just gonna make this really wonderful. So let's get started. First, gather together your ingredients. You'll have a bunch of fresh spinach, some farina, dill, scallions, feta, eggs, butter, and of course, your package of phyllo dough. Don't forget to rinse out your spinach once you've chopped it up. This will ensure that you remove any dirt that might still be there. Spinach tends to retain quite a bit of dirt, so you want to make sure that you thoroughly rinse it out. And honestly, use fresh spinach because it'll give you a much better taste. Take a large bowl, put in your spinach, then your feta, which you've crumbled up, your scallions, next the farina, the dill, and finally your eggs. Next, you will mash them up by hand. This will be your filling, so you'll want to mix it up really thoroughly. I like to use my hands because I find it's a lot more thorough that way. You might want to use a fork or a spoon, but to me this works the best. So for the next phase of our recipe, we are going to be putting phyllo dough onto our pan. This is the dough we're going to be using. It is the number 7 variety. Phyllo actually comes in a couple of different varieties. There's another variety that's the number 10 according to Apollo anyway. And that variety is also called yufka in Turkish, or koryatiki, so village style or sort of homemade type of phyllo dough. But another possibility you can go with when you are making your spanakopita is you can make it with puff pastry, which makes it really flaky. It's something actually that my family like to do quite a lot for New Year's, when it's traditional from my mom's part of the country to make a round spanakopita for the new year and put a coin inside. And then whoever gets it gets good luck for the year. It's a cool tradition. If you don't get the coin, it's fine. You know, it doesn't mean that you're screwed for the whole year, but it is a nice thing. But we're gonna use the number 7 today. I like the flakiness of it. We're gonna get a nice combination of things basically for our spanakopita. So we're gonna get started on that and roll it out, and I'll tell you another tip about the phyllo as we're doing that. Next, put your butter in the microwave to melt it. With your melted butter, baste the bottom of your pan so that your phyllo dough does not stick. You're going to be using this butter every single step of the way with each leaf of phyllo in order to create that rich flavor and also so everything sticks together. Next, unwrap your phyllo dough from the package. You'll see that it is sealed up in plastic, so you'll want to take a pair of scissors, food scissors typically, and then roll it out from that initial sleeve. You'll see that many of the leaves are stuck together. I am going to count them to see what's the halfway point so that I have an even spread between my bottom layer and my filling and my top layers. Take your first leaf of phyllo, place it in your pan. Do not worry if it is slightly broken. You'll see like that piece is. You are just going to take it and lay it down. You're going to lay another layer on top, so it's really not going to matter. It's basically strength in numbers. Yeah, just pat it down like that. Baste. And then this is the tip I was talking about. So take a towel and then moisten it. I am using a spritzer that I typically use for my plants, but I've refilled it with regular water. And that damp towel will help keep your leaves of phyllo moist. So the problem you often run into with phyllo leaves is that they'll dry out in the process of working with them. And I'll actually run into that problem myself. Maybe I should have covered both ends of my phyllo leaves with a moistened towel. But doing that will ensure that they will not dry out in the process. I'll show you another way to handle the phyllo when it does dry out a bit at the very end, because I do run into that problem very frequently. I honestly think a way of getting around that problem itself is that instead of having all of that excess that you see on all sides of my pan, that you should trim it in the process of it so it exactly fits. When you're done putting in your last layer for the bottom, you are going to add your filling and you are going to spread it out. And then we'll start the process again. We'll lay down another phyllo leaf and we are going to baste it and repeat the same process that we worked on when we laid down our bottom layers. Okay, so I've gotten to my top layer. Now you're gonna start seeing that my edges are crumpling up. That's because they have dried. Now what I'm going to do to fix that is I'm using that same spritzer in order to moisten the top leaves, and then I'm gonna use my hands manually to fold them in and crimp that edge so that you will barely notice that I even had problems with it. And then finally, you are going to want to cut it before you set it in the oven or do the final basting. This is very important. If you forget to cut your spanakopita before you put it in the oven, you are going to have the hardest time of cutting it apart. It's going to fall apart on you. So do not forget to do this. And then we're going to do our last basting of butter so that it emerges golden brown from the oven. We're now ready to take the pita out of the oven, so we're gonna do that right now. I've already checked on it. It looks golden brown, so we are ready and set to go. Look at this guy. Ooh, look at you. So pretty. Oh. Look at you. And there you have it, spanakopita ready to share with your family and friends. And in fact, it's one of my favorite things to make when going to a party or to a family gathering. It pretty much always impresses, and it's a pretty easy thing to make and serve up. This has been another episode of Mixing It Up with Maria. Thank you again. Take care, and do not forget to subscribe.